So you thought buying a ready-to-run RC car like this would be the end of your spending. Unfortunately, I've got bad news for you. Today I'll be breaking down the real cost of getting into this hobby. Everything from running the truck to maintaining it and just having fun. Check it out. So I made this video with people in mind that are just getting into the hobby, that want to know what it really entails. Maybe you're still researching it and looking into buying one, or you've already gotten your first one. Either way, it's good to review the costs involved. Prices are going to vary pretty widely, so it's a little hard to get specifics. I'm going to give ballpark ranges mostly. Market fluctuations and timing play a big part in how this changes. I'm recording this in April 2025, so I'll give you the current market prices that I can find. It also depends on the quality and the brand of what you're looking at for all of these items. So let's get into it. Starting with the vehicle itself. This can be a wide range in price. I'll be looking at more brand name trucks rather than off-brand or cheaper versions because you really don't know the quality you're getting when you buy some of those. I'm talking about brands that you might find on Amazon that you've never heard of, for example. But when you're looking at brands like Arrma, Traxxas, Losi, Team Corrali, ones like that, that's where you're getting into a quality truck. And so we'll start there. Those can range from $150 to $1,500, generally speaking. Some more custom trucks can run into the several $1,000s range. Here's an example of one that is very custom built and costs a lot of money. So you can see there's a huge range of what you're looking at if you really want to get into the hobby deep. But for this purpose, we'll stick with the ready-to-run range. This is an example of an 8th scale 6S truck that is, as you can see, still pretty big. They do get bigger and they do come a lot smaller. So do your research, look into what you're looking for, and go for that. But consider that price range varies widely. Although the vehicle says ready to run, it's a little bit of a misnomer because you actually can't run it without a battery. That's the next item you should factor into your cost. This is an array of LiPo batteries here that you can see, and there's a wide range depending on the application. It can also be a little daunting to look at the batteries because there's all sorts of numbers written on them. So I'm not an expert on these, but I do know a fair bit and can give you a little education on it right now. So when you're looking at the batteries, you're going to see many numbers, including a large number with an MAH next to it. This milliamp rating has to do mostly with run time. So the higher the rating, the longer your battery is going to last. You also will hear people refer to batteries in number and an S. So 3S, 4S, 6S, things like that. That really equates to the cell numbers. So the truck you get will have a certain range of what the electronic speed control can handle in terms of cell size. And so if you're getting a 10th scale truck, those typically would be 2 to 3S capable. An 8th scale might be 4 to 6S capable. The larger 5th scales would be up to 8S capable and beyond if you're going for a bigger speed control. So looking at the cell number is important. Another way to do that is by looking at the voltage. So this is a 6-cell battery. It's going to have a 22.2 volt rating on there, and that is typically what a 6-cell would have for voltage rating. You're also going to see another number on there that has a C after it. That C rating has to do a lot with how punchy the battery is. Bursts of power are higher on a higher C rating. And some vehicles have a C rating minimum. So you want to look at that before purchasing your LiPo battery. Before buying your LiPo, you want to check on the minimum LiPo requirements for the RC that you have. For example, the newest version Arrma Kraton that I showed you earlier has a minimum C rating of 35 and a minimum milliamp of 5,000. That's because this Spektrum ESC that comes in it needs at least that much to run. So they do sell batteries that are lower C ratings and lower milliamps, and you'd be in trouble if you got that. That's the minimum. What you want is actually higher. The C rating of 100, for example, on this one, or the CNHL battery that's 120C, packs a much higher punch, which is something that I like when I'm driving on off-road bashing sessions. Another thing you want to pay attention to when buying your first LiPos is the right connector. There's a lot of different connectors out there, and some name brands go with certain ones. Traxxas, for example, has its own connector. Arrma usually runs with these IC5 or IC3 connectors that come with Spektrum. And these EC5 connectors actually do fit with the IC5, as you can see here. They're a little different, but they do fit together. So oftentimes I opt for the EC5 if it's available. So just pay attention to that. It's an easy mistake to make, and you get the battery home and you realize the connector's wrong. That's not impossible to fix though, especially if you have a soldering iron or you know someone that does. You can swap out those connectors and still run the battery. So battery prices vary wildly. That's because there's a wide range of sizes and applications. You can go from a $30 cheapo battery to a $330 massive 12S battery, and everything in between. There's smart basher batteries that are pretty expensive, close to $200 for a Spektrum G2 smart battery. But there's a wide range. Some cheap brands like Z actually is pretty cheap, but I've liked them. There's also higher end ones, SMC, CNHL, all sorts of other batteries out there. And some people swear by the higher end because it gives a more accurate rating and more true power. Whereas some of these other ones, it's a little questionable as to, is the C rating really that accurate? Just know that there's a wide range and you got to do your research to pick the right one. Unfortunately, we can't move on from LiPos yet because you still need to charge them, and you're going to need to buy one of those. These also have a wide range. You can get a tiny cheap battery charger for like 20 bucks, for example, but I would not recommend that. You don't want to go cheap on charging batteries. You can also get a very high-end one for like $650. I wouldn't use that. That's a little higher than I need. But if you're running big power and you've got a lot of trucks, you might want to go for the higher end. And the reason is because you want to be able to charge multiple batteries at a time when you have multiple trucks, which, hint, hint, you're likely going to get multiple trucks. Check out my last video I made where I reference this, and it's an addicting hobby. So as you have more trucks, you're going to get more batteries, which I would recommend getting more than one battery, whether you're running through batteries on one truck or whether you want to have multiple charged to be able to go out and drive multiple trucks. You're going to need more than one. So you're going to have a good charger that can charge multiple batteries at once, and the higher end ones can do that at a higher amperage. By the way, side note, if any of these products seem interesting, I'll put Amazon affiliate links to many of the products that I'm talking about in the video description. So if you want to help out the channel, that's one way to do it. I feel like I should do a video just on LiPos because there's so much to say. But one last thing to mention is a LiPo storage container. That can be a fireproof bag or an ammo container. There's many ways to store them safely, but they're highly flammable and you want to be safe with them. Prices on those containers can range from $10 to like $130 on a high-end LiPo storage bag. Some of those higher end ones have slots for you to plug the battery through when you're charging, which is the most dangerous time for LiPo batteries. Unfortunately, most ready-to-run trucks these days do not come with the right tools. They might come with a few, like this wrench to take off the tires, but they don't come with everything you need. This is an example of the most basic setup of tools that you would need to function in this hobby. But you're going to need more, and you're going to grow your supply as you get into it. But you're going to at least need some hex drivers, especially some good ones, and you're not going to strip the hex heads of bolts, which is a pain. Some socket drivers, those are important too. Some pliers, needle nose and shock pliers, and of course the tool to get off your wheel nuts. So that's basic. The costs vary widely on this depending on quality of the tool and what you want. A set of MIP drivers, for example, would be about 40 bucks. I did find a $90 overall tool kit that's not a higher end, but it's on Amazon. I'll throw a link in the description for that. But something to get you started, and then you can grow from there. You're also going to want to invest in a tool kit or some sort of way to organize them. You might get into a tool bench, and as you can see, it grows from there. but having the right tools makes breaking trucks a little less stressful. Along with the tools also comes some accessories that help with working on the vehicle. So there's different oils such as differential or shock oil, and there's lots of different weights for those depending on your need, your style, the type of truck you have. You want to get some good WD-40, the silicone kind. I explain why in a couple videos that I'll throw a link in the description of, but that's for maintenance and cleaning. Thread locker or Loctite is very important, especially when putting screws into a metal surface. So metal on metal uses Loctite. I prefer this gel kind that is just a little easier to work with, but there's also a liquid kind. But you want to get the blue Loctite for most applications. Sometimes the red is needed, which is stronger, but don't mistake the two. Getting a screw kit like this can be helpful, especially if you're in the field or you're at home working and you break a bolt, you drop one and you can't find it. This has everything you need, and it comes by particular type of vehicle. So you can get one of those. Also, a bearing kit is equally as important. Blown bearings can happen, and so you can buy a kit specific to your vehicle, and it should have all the bearings needed. And a pack of gloves is especially needed, often overlooked. You get your hands less dirty. The costs of these vary, but do your own research and just know that these all do add up. The hobby kind of nickel and dimes you to death. So this is why part of this video is just to give you the information up front so you're not kind of finding out as you go. Replacement parts is another cost to factor in. When parts break, you're obviously going to need to replace them. So do your research on some websites out there that you can buy replacement stock parts for pretty cheaply. There are ones out there, and you just have to find them. But you have to be careful because some websites will also sell you that exact same part for twice the price or more. So look around and be sure you're not getting ripped off when you buy a stock replacement part. When you're getting into upgraded parts, then it can get pricey, and you also want to know what brand you're looking at and is it a reputable one. There's a lot of really good ones out there, but they do add up quick. So when you get into customized vehicles, you can spend upwards of thousands of dollars building your perfect RC car. If you haven't seen my most recent video of the 10 things you should know when getting into this hobby, definitely check that out. It would relate nicely to this video. So as you can see, it's not just the car, it's the whole ecosystem. I hope this video didn't scare anyone away, because this really is super fun, and there's a reason why I'm willing to spend all this time and money on this hobby, because it's awesome. So as they say, you gotta pay to play. Hope you guys get out there and enjoy this hobby. Thanks for watching, and please don't forget to like and subscribe. Take it easy.